ForbesDVD.com.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Doggy Diamonds. You are now on ForbesDVD.com official YouTube page. FORBEZ DVD is this YouTube. The backup YouTube page is Forbes DVD Promo. FORBEZ DVD PROMO. You can log on to the website daily for new updates. If you want your videos submitted to the site, use the contact form. We're charging $100 to put videos up. So now that I got all of that out the way, let's deal with the matter at hand. We got the big, great debate going on. Who fucked up New York hip-hop? Now, before I give my opinion, let's see the two combatants who's giving their opinion, blaming each other, mind you, of who fucked up New York hip-hop. On one side, you got Ebro, the former program director for Hot 97. On the other side, you got 50 Cent, big artist, multi-platinum artist, big brand ambassador for many different brands, the head of G-Unit. Now, Ebro is saying 50 Cent fucked New York hip-hop up when he came out beefing with a lot of people. That kind of divided New York. When Ja Rule got Jadakiss and Fat Joe to do the New York record, which was a New York record, 50 Cent took problems with that. He had issues with that, and he went at everybody on the record. That's what caused his beef with Jadakiss. Big New York artist who always put on for New York City, never really wavered, never did any other music that wasn't like sounding New York, always rep New York, from Yonkers, New York. Then you had Fat Joe from the Bronx. Fat Joe might have tinkered in different sounds, but it was never too way out for me personally. I think Fat Joe was a deep artist, dope artist, definitely put on for New York City. Ja Rule, definitely a dope artist. You know, multi-platinum, did a lot for the game, but 50 Cent took an issue with them doing that record because he had a problem with Ja Rule. They were standing too close to Ja Rule, so he fired on all of them. Now, the problem with that was it was a New York record, and it was representing New York. It sounded like New York. It had the strength from New York. It had the bounce of New York. You know, it had everything besides, you know, it being the golden era New York sounding sample music and all that, but it sounded like New York. 50 Cent took a problem with that and he went at them, which caused a lot of division. You had to pick a side, whether you was on D Block side. D Block, very, very New York, big staple of New York City, of our big three. Our big three of New York is Dipset, G-Unit, and D Block. Those always been the three that we considered to be the three strongest groups from New York City. So now, if G-Unit is going at it with one of the bigger groups, that causes a lot of division because now we feel like we got to pick a side of what side we should stand on. Are we going to be on the D-Block side or are we going to be on the G-Unit side? So that started that. And that, you know, in Ebro's opinion, that's what caused a lot of the rifts. And then 50 had various beef with different New York artists, you know, behind, you know, anybody that stood close to Ja Rule or anybody that he just took issue with. Now, on the other side, you got 50 Cent saying, well, you were formerly the program director of New York radio. You're from California. I threw that in there. You came to New York, you become the program director, and y'all are responsible for playing New York music. So within him being responsible for playing New York music, what artist from New York has Hot 97 broke? That's his 50 Cent stance. We in New York, we have our heroes, we have our sheroes that we love as artists in New York, but Ebro doesn't agree. You know, he's been very, very vocal about calling some artists minor league rappers, mainly New York rappers. He's called Sean Price, rest in peace, a minor league rapper, said him by name. In New York City, we never considered Sean Price to be a minor league rapper because Sean Price comes from a big lineage of the New York sound, which is the Boot Camp Clique, which consists of Buckshot, Smith & Wesson, and various other artists who's always had the New York sound and held New York City down from the golden era to this present day. So by him dissing Sean Price, that let a lot of people believe that people that from that genre and people from that type of music don't stand a chance of ever making it. That's what, you know, Ebro basically said. We also seen Sean Price have an issue with Astro. Well, his name is Stro now, formerly known as Astro. When he was on the radio, he told Astro, basically, you got to make hit records, you got to do different things. So now Ebro is going from being just a program director, somebody who's putting out radio, to being an A&R now. Now he's telling dudes what's hit records, what's a hit record and what's not a hit record. Many people in the streets, many people on the Twitter, many people all over, I see them always blame Ebro. They're always mad at Ebro because he was formerly the program director of New York City Radio. He's even stepped down from the role as program director, and he's become like a radio personality. So I always thought that was a conflict of interest myself personally. How are you trying to be a personality and also be the program director? So when you go from program director to being a personality, essentially you're just trying to be a star, because you're not adding on anything as far as your personality, because your personality ain't shit. And it ain't like you got this crazy radio voice. You was behind the scenes, and now you're trying to be the star. You're trying to be on reality TV, and you're trying to do different things to be in the spotlight. So I always thought that was a conflict of interest, because you got to understand, once he steps into the spotlight, why should he give anybody else the light that he wants on himself? So of course he's not going to help anybody else become a star, because he wants to be a star. He wants to be the man. He wants to sign autographs. He wants to do walkthroughs. So you got that argument. My personal take is on this. I want to know what y'all think, but my personal take is on the whole situation is this. Here you have 50 Cent, somebody who went from being blackballed in the music industry, incredible artist from the gate, never was corny, was one of the first artists that came in the game using that southern twang. I mean, you could listen back. He was saying, I finna. He was saying, go ahead, use your lead. He was using that twang first. He was the first person kind of pushing the envelope. Yes, he did New York sound and music, but he signed Young Buck, who's from not from New York. He's never put on any New York artists either. And when a lot of New York artists came out that was getting a little momentum and steam, he would have like a little issue with them. Troy Ave sounded a lot like 50 Cent, but he took issue with Troy Ave in the beginning, and then he embraced Troy Ave back. I'm not going to say not when it didn't matter, but he embraced Troy Ave after the fact. What if he had came out and you embraced him in the first place? What if Jadakiss and 50 Cent did a record that was mainstream, and it becomes a point where it's just all about, it became corporate, where everything is about a sale and it don't make sense, and this doesn't make sense and all that, and it doesn't make money. And it's like, what does that have to do with the music? You're in the music business to make money, but when you already rich, what happened to just doing music for the love of the music? Where's the love of the music? The best music comes out of love. Thought out music and concentrated hit records is not good music. It's too thought out. Music is an emotion. Music is a feeling. Music is supposed to evoke different feelings. It's not always one dimensional. It's not one note. So when you make music, you're supposed to make people want to laugh, cry, dance, fuck, think, fight sometimes, and that's what music does. You're supposed to make you want to, reflect different things. It's supposed to, come out of good music. So now you have 50 Cent, who's made it. And I always felt like, me personally, this is Doggy Diamonds talking, I don't give a fuck who don't like it. I always felt like 50 Cent was just somebody who was just mad. He got money. He made it out of the mud. He made it out of these situations, and he just still mad and always has a problem with somebody. And you made it. Like, how could you be up? How could you have all this money? How could you be in a great situation in your life? In a place that people are dying to be, place that people people are selling their soul to be right now. People are giving up their manhood to be, not me. But, some people are doing that shit to be where you at, and you made it to this situation, and you still looking back, reflecting like you're in our position, like you don't have, like we don't have. Like you're fucked up in the game. And then when people come out and they do their thing, it's like he just has a problem with everybody, or just has to find a way to have a beef or issue with people. When you up and you in a good position that you fought for, why can't you just be happy? Why can't you just be in a position where you winning? You still acting like you're fucked up in the game. And I just think that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? This is me personally. Nobody don't have to agree with me. I don't give a fuck whether you agree or not. That's not the topic. I'm just kind of, letting you know how I feel about certain things that bothers me when I see it. It could be more embracing of people in the culture that you see and working hard, but I can't tell another man what to do. Then you have Ebro on the other hand, who, Hot 97 is just all in disarray. You have, I'm not going to talk about nobody else at Hot 97 but Ebro. Like I said, my gripe with him is that he just wanted to be a star, instead of making sure good music was coming out and telling people that they're minor league rappers, when you have a whole genre of music that is the foundation and the sound of New York, a la Boot Camp, a la Stro, a la Skyzoo, a la Torre. I could say different names, there's so many names for people that put it on for New York City, and then, then they start feeling like they have to make these records that, oh, he's talking about bringing New York back, but how could New York have gone anywhere when some of the biggest artists in the music industry history has come from New York, still represent New York? So then you had the invasion of the strip club culture in New York, because that was the sound that New York was copying. So now when you have people that want to make boom bap records a la Boot Camp Click, a la DITC, a la different groups that make that sound, they feel like they have no chance to make it in New York City, because now they feel like they have to cater to the strip clubs. They have to cater to this certain bounce. They got to cater to this genre of music that's winning. So now you're going to see 1,000,001 Panda remixes. Now you're going to see 1,000,001 remixes and freestyles to these songs, mind you, that are never going to get played on the radio. So basically you're doing a remix for nothing. You're doing it for fun, because you make music to get played on the radio. You don't make music for it to stay in your crib. You make music to get played on the radio. So that's what happened. Hot 97 was dictating the pace of New York City and the sound of New York. And let's not forget, you have people who sponsor radio, so they were playing things. I'm not going to say the word payola because I don't have concrete evidence that ever happened, but it's always talks behind the scene that payola happens. I know how this go, but I'm not going to delve into that information right now. We'll save that for another time. But all I'm saying is that both of y'all motherfuckers is to blame for what the fuck is going on in New York City. Because if you have power to change something in New York, then you're supposed to change it. You can't be a part of the problem and the solution at the same time. Either you part of the problem or part of the solution. If you feel like New York is not going a certain way, then you fix it. And I'm not going to even talk about 50 Cent at the time, but he even was beefing with Cameron, another strong sound of New York, another strong group out of New York City. One of the biggest street movements ever in New York City was the Dipset movement, was beefing with them. That causes division, that causes things to fuck up also. So, I want to know your opinion. Y'all don't have to agree with me. You can't agree with me. You could blame Ebro, you could blame 50 Cent, you could blame both of them. You could say they're equally to blame, or you could just say one or the other. I just want to know what y'all think. Leave your comments below. Log on to ForbesDVD.com. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube. Say what you feel, man. I'm here, I'm listening. I want to create this dialogue. So everybody pointing fingers, but remember, when you point a finger, 3 point back at you. Say what you got to say. Just be respectful. I'm Doggy Diamonds. ForbesDVD.com is the website. Make sure you log on. Subscribe to this YouTube. Peace. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Doggy Diamonds. Many people often ask me, how could I get my video on ForbesDVD.com? How much do y'all charge? What's the process? What do I have to do? Well, we redesigned the site, relaunched the site. It's now working on all mobile devices perfectly. So you can get your video on the website now for only $100. Contact ForbesDVDpromo@gmail.com for more details. ForbesDVDpromo@gmail.com for more details. PayPal information will be given to you. ForbesDVD.com